was a child, I was a chronic chair sniffer. I don't really know how this started, and I get good bunches of embarrassment whenever I remember. But as a kid, from like 5 to 9 years old, I would always smell the butt of a chair that someone sits on. Whenever my parents would have guests over and they would get up from their seats and go somewhere else, I would then get up and sniff the seat bottom out of pure, genuine curiosity. There was no other reasoning behind this other than childlike wonder. The scents were one of those things like gasoline or dog paws that don't necessarily smell good, but you can't stop smelling. Yeah, that one is a bit weird, but I mean, I guess you were a child, so you kind of get the pass. Kids do weird things all the time. Next one is by much_half_5791. I once said in front of 30 people that a benefit to being bald is that you could pretend to have cancer. This happened when I was about 13 years old, walking back to school from a PE lesson, which is gym for Americans, which we did outside of school in a sports building. For some reason, me and a group of 4 other 13-year-olds randomly decided to talk about if being bald would be good or not. Don't ask what led up to it. So they were saying some random funny benefits like being reflective or whatever, until I decided to chip into the conversation. As the group of 30 students were leaving the building, I blurted out, quote, "You could easily pretend you have cancer." Little did I know the teacher was standing right in front of me. Coincidentally, he was bald. He dragged me to the side and told me off in front of everyone, and why what I said was wrong. It's been years and I haven't lived it down since. That is quite swallow it. Gross, I know. But then more came up and my friend looks at me and just points under the bar. So I spit it out and vomit under the bar. I also got it on my shirt and pants. I don't think anyone noticed except the one friend, which is kinda crazy because the bar was so busy. The whole night was pretty blurry after that. I woke up today hungover as fuck and looked at my clothes from last night, and I tried to puke on it to confirm it did indeed happen. I feel pretty bad about it, especially because no one really noticed. I think someone had to clean it up at the end of the night. Yeah, that is pretty embarrassing and pretty gross, but I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have done similar, people throw up at bars all the time. I just feel bad for whoever had to clean it up. This next one is by A Grey Road. I've been stealing panties from my cousin for a while. I visited my cousin's home one day. She was the same age I was and quite attractive. When I was inside her restroom, I noticed her laundry basket was filled with clothes that needed to be washed. Me, being around 16 years old and horny at most given times, searched through it to find any worn underwear or bra. After picking through, I found a pair of blue Victoria's Secret panties. They were slightly stained and smelled amazing. I was thrilled and turned on, but I couldn't remain in the bathroom for long, as it could be suspicious. I decided to stash the dirty panties in my pocket and bring them home. Whenever I was alone at home and aroused, I would sniff her underwear and jerk off. I couldn't help it. The aroma was just intoxicating. Eventually, I wanted more of her panties, as I was constantly horny. Every time I went over to her house, I would go to the bathroom and look for any dirty pairs. I've taken around 5 pairs over the course of several years, as I'm afraid she would notice. After I finish jerking off while smelling them, I feel guilty. I've stolen her clothes and it feels wrong to desire her panties at all, as she is family. Now, as a 20-year-old, I have had thoughts of confessing this situation with her, because I still raid her laundry basket occasionally. It would be awkward and embarrassing, but it could help alleviate my guilt. I would give her money for stolen panties and really try to refrain from taking more of her clothes. Well, this is my confession. Hope it isn't too weird. It is too weird, that is very, very messed up. That one is like, you were more than old enough to know better when it started. You were 16 and you're 20 now. You're still old enough to know better. Like, that's really gross. That one's really bad. That's creepy and horrible. I don't know what you expect to happen when you confess to it, but it won't be good. Yeah. I just want to preface this by saying I think a lot of these are gonna be weird or gross. So if this type of stuff is like too weird for you or grosses you out, or if you're young, you should probably click off and go and watch a different one of my videos. But yeah, let's carry on. Okay, this next one is by Atomic Blonde 420. I shit myself on vacation and blamed my cousin. Alright, some backstory here. I'm 20 female. I suffer from pretty shitty, pun intended, IBS. I have had stomach issues 6 years. In 2013, I was on a family vacation in Wilmington, NC. We were staying at a beach house my uncle owned. Towards the end of the vacation, my cousins and my aunt and uncle came to stay with my close family, mum, dad and brother. One night it was storming and they all went out to eat, but I stayed in due to stomach pain. Well, I was on FaceTime with a friend laying on the extra bed that my little cousin slept on, and I farted, or thought it was a fart, and I was wearing super short shorts, and well, I don't want to be too graphic here, but the shit was like liquid and it got on the bed and blanket. I immediately hung up the FaceTime call and threw my pants away and cleaned up the bed, or so I thought. Well, when my brother came into the room after everyone came home, he noticed the brown mark on the blanket. I had never felt so gut-wrenchingly embarrassed. I mean, I was 15 and I pooped myself on someone else's bed in a house that was not mine, and now I have to explain myself to my little brother. So I act like I totally have no idea where the brown mark came from or what it is. I think he even sniffed it, and that's when he knew it was shit. Well, that's when all of my cousins became aware of the shit stain. Then my one cousin, let's call him B, pointed out that his little sister, let's call her S, happened to have a problem with pooping her bed at night. So everyone assumed S made the stain when it was actually me, the eldest of all the cousins. To this day I still think about it, and my cousins probably remember. S is older now and I feel bad about the whole thing. I want to tell everyone it was me since I'm older and it's been so long, but part of me is still embarrassed. I would tell everyone, I mean, like, it's been years and you're all older now. I feel like it would now just become a family, like a funny family story that gets brought up every once in a while. Like, meh. Okay. This next one is by PM_me_you_poopin. PM me you poopin. Everyone in my life has become aware of my scat fetish. Okay, buckle up for this one, I guess. It all started a year ago when I sold a tablet of mine to a friend. Without realizing it, I forgot to erase and reset the tablet. On that tablet was some really bad porn videos with scat vids, the worst of which was like scat eating, and honestly really grosses me out. And I'd click off the videos almost immediately, but it was all still in my history. I had watched them in the privacy of my own home. That shouldn't follow me like this. When my friend came across these vids, he showed all my friends. Then someone made a link with my Facebook attached to it with all the history and places the tablet had visited. I don't even remember 90% of those websites, but once again, whatever. Not like anyone cares about that, they just want to make fun of me. Somehow that shit went viral, to the point it seems everyone has seen it. People I don't even know somehow know of me. I can't hold down a job because within a week of me being there, my co-workers always find out about this incident somehow, and then proceed to really lay into me and cause me to freak out and just walk out of the job. I've left 3 jobs because of this. One place was a general store, and people kept any sympathy. They just want to make fun of me right in front of me. I have no friends left because of it. My family has tried to force me into a psych ward, and I can't leave this state because I can't hold down a job long enough to save any money up. I have panic attacks every time someone brings it up to me out of pure embarrassment. I just don't understand why people are so mean or why they won't drop it. I don't understand why people want or feel the need to make another human being want to kill themselves over something that doesn't affect them in any way. I'm stuck feeling as though I'll never be able to escape this, and I know I don't deserve this. I just others did as well. I just feel like others did as well. People are saying, change your name. That might help. Which it might, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that one is really embarrassing. Yeah, I would hate to have something embarrassing like leaked about me and then have people like non-stop harass me about it. I mean, to me and many other people, scat is very weird, especially scat fetish, but I don't think it warrants harassing someone that much, especially to the point where he said like he wants to end his life. This next one is by Lustful Gumby, and it's just titled, I pooped myself. A lot of these seem to be poop related. I've always bragged that this has never happened to me. I truly believed I have some sort of superior sphincter control, but I've been eating extremely healthy lately, tons of fiber, and it finally happened. I sharted at the mall with my preschooler. She took that exact moment I realised what had happened to throw herself on the ground, which she hasn't done in a long time, and insist she was done walking. Then she screamed. I did that through the teeth. Mom demon hissed, get up right now or you will never know joy again. So as I'm dragging her as fast as I can to the bathroom, she starts asking, why are we going to the bathroom? She doesn't have to potty. Why are you going so fast, Mummy? What's wrong? Are you okay? I have to pull her into the stall with me, and the second I pull my pants down, she shouts, Mummy, why is there poop in your panties? Oh no, what happened? The bathroom was full, all 7 stalls full, and someone in line behind me. So I'm whispering to her what happened and to not say it out loud, and she keeps repeating everything I say at the top of her lungs. Thankfully, it was a little only in my underwear, so I threw them out, which led to her trying to fish them out of the garbage. After we talked to an Eerie, because no way I'm not buying myself some cute underwear to soothe this horrible thing that has happened. She keeps loudly talking about it all the way through the mall to the store. She tells the cashier what happened. Today has been the most embarrassing day of my life. I shit myself and my kid told everyone. Yep, that's kids for you. They will make any bad or embarrassing situation so much worse, so quickly. They are just brutal. This next one is by Gallin M4. I shit myself in 6th grade, and I think they all knew but didn't say anything. Let me start out by saying that at our school, recess was always right after lunch for the 6th graders, so the food I had just eaten was hitting me the wrong way. I had happened to be sitting out that day for bad behaviour, so when I asked to get up to use the restroom, my teacher was reluctant to give in. To be fair, she probably thought I was just going to walk around to find other ways to occupy myself, while everyone else got to have recess. I tried my best to clench and keep it in, but my stomach was just not having it. It wanted whatever was in the bathroom, I had nearly let the whole bowel movement out into my underwear. Thank God it didn't start sliding down my leg, because this was the kind of shit that definitely had the potential to. Please ignore my stomach. I haven't had any breakfast yet. I sat down in the stall and examined the damage. I can vividly recall my perfect yellow SpongeBob SquarePants boxes being nearly covered in brown goo. I had also simultaneously opened a massive floodgate of stench. The privacy of the stall protected my identity until people from my grade started marching into the same bathroom. Recess had ended and they were taking a bathroom break before returning to class. Immediately, someone must have recognized me by my shoes and said, "Damn, my name, that friggin' stinks, man," or something like that. I remained totally silent. I would not concede. I waited until they all left and devised a plan. By the grace of God, my mother was there that day. She sometimes subbed or volunteered at my school, so it wasn't too uncommon. I walked to the nurse's office, the shit in my boxes rubbing against my butt cheeks, hoping the smell was contained within my pants. I quietly told the nurse I had an accident. She said okay, very sympathetically, and gave me a change of clothes for just such an occasion. She asked if I wanted my mum. I nodded yes. A few minutes later, she came up to the clinic, already aware of what had happened, thanks to the phone call. Without a word, we walked to the car. I was going home. Thank God I would not have to walk back into the classroom with new pants on. It would have been social suicide. The car ride was completely quiet. My mum dropped me off at the house and told me to take a shower. She seemed very sullen, almost embarrassed. I didn't care. I was thankful to be home. I thanked her and she drove back to the school. I was safe from being discovered. I cleaned up and resumed my day, pretending that nothing had happened. It was the only way I could move on. The next day I didn't know what to expect, so I had planned a list of excuses for my sudden absence after recess yesterday. Here's the weird thing. Nobody asked anything, not even my best friends. I think whoever saw my shoes must have spread the news, and thankfully, everyone was very respectful about the embarrassing situation. Obviously, my teacher probably got a phone call, so she would have known where I was, but there's no way she would have shared that with the class. As we went into middle school and high school, I always wondered who knew and how they felt about it. A couple of years after the incident, I gladly recalled the horror story to some of my closer friends, since the tragedy of it all was also a great source of laughter. But I've always got one thought in the back of my head: who out there is still judging me for the time I shit my pants in 6th grade? That one is really, really embarrassing. As a kid, you don't really know like what to do. You just kind of panic. That, like, you're so lucky that his mum was there that day. I'm trying to show you guys the source of all the noise and the snoring. You can kind of see it there. Okay, this next one is by Odyssey Dawn. I think I might have feelings for my younger sister. I've recently started to become attracted to my younger sister. I've never had any feelings for her before, but lately I've noticed how pretty she is, and how she is growing into a female version of me. She'll play the same video games that I do, and watch the same movies. She'll go to the gym with me and encourage me to try bigger flips or vaults. When it's raining outside, we'll cuddle up next to each other and take turns sharing scary, funny, or stupid stories. And physically, she is starting to mature. She is 40 motion at the beach. I went on vacation with my family one summer for a few weeks. We stayed at a beach house. It was maybe a quarter-mile walk to the water. The waves were huge. The water was the perfect temp. It was great. Many great days were spent baking in the sun in that spot. One day we were all hanging out when I got that dreaded abdominal pressure. The fucked up part was there wasn't a bathroom in sight for miles around. I approached and then it's missing someone in the family, I imagine. Where's the bathroom around here? Probably have to walk back to the beach house, just piss in the water. Oh, little did she know I wasn't going to make the 20-minute walk back. I could hardly make another 200 feet. Things were about to get real really fast. I headed out towards the water, repeating in my head over and over, am I really about to do this? Are you fucking serious? I'm up for new experiences, plus it was probably the absolute best option at the time. I head out roughly 40 feet to water a little above my head. Then I swim parallel to the shore downwind so it wouldn't be in our area. I awkwardly tread water there, out there by myself, keeping an eye out, then whoosh. I dunk underwater. In one quick motion, I yank my trunks down smoothly, then force out one of the goddamnest, largest Lincoln logs I've ever seen this side of the Mississippi. I don't usually do it, but I kept my eyes open enduring the saltiness just to make sure it was a smooth operation. I watched it soar upwards, then I launched backwards out of the containment zone like an eel back down the shore, all while holding my breath to make sure I'm far separated before I emerge again to quell any suspicions. I look back in the distance and see a brown U-boat bobbing up and down. I walk back to the beach, a beaten, weathered man, a soldier's bittersweet return home as I kept my gaze forward, only to the future from then on. I haven't returned to those dreaded beaches yet, but one day I will to pay my respects. That one's funny. It's really funny. At least no one caught him. Okay, this next one is by a deleted account. I snuck into the girls' locker room and did weird things. I'm a male. All of this happened 2 years ago in my freshman year of high school. Also second post since the other one broke rule 2. I don't know what that is. I feel I like feet, so every time I have gym class I would ask to use the bathroom, but instead sneak into the girls' locker room when no one was watching. I could take a maximum of around 15-20 minutes until the teacher could start to notice, since my gym class is large. The locker room has no cameras for obvious reasons, and there was a small room in the corner of the locker room where there were gym teachers on their break, but they didn't really seem to care about monitoring, because it's not very common for people like me to exist. What I did in the locker room, I would look for cute shoes to sniff and even lick the bottoms of them. I would also take socks that were left on the floor and smell every scent out of them. There are a lot of close calls where I would turn to the girls' locker room and hear noises and quickly turn back. Here's a bonus of another weird thing I have done. In my art class, the teacher was leading the class to the art gallery to show some art. I was purposefully pretending to check my bag for things just to be left behind. I was alone in there, and it was the summer time, so this one girl in my class took off his shoes and was wandering around in his socks. I, of course, took the shoes and sniffed them and licked every bit of dirt off the shoes. I then just fast-walked to the group and no one noticed. Luckily, the girl didn't notice my saliva on his shoes, or I would have been screwed. Anyways, I stopped doing this because I almost got caught while licking a shoe. I was hearing people enter, and luckily they were going the opposite end, so I just skedoodled the fuck out of there and never did it again. I feel guilty time to time, but at least their shoes were clean and socks were less smelly. I would still do this again, but I'm too scared. Okay. That is very weird. Very weird. And gross. And you're old enough to know better, so maybe stop. Stop doing that. This one is a bit of a funny one. It's by Marvash Macaulay. I once lived off random family breakfasts for a month and nobody questioned it. A while back I was broke, hungry and desperate. I'd already burned through all the obvious free food hacks. Costco samples, hotel lobbies, church potlucks. Then I had the dumbest idea that somehow worked. Every morning I'd just walk into a random house around my neighborhood. Not breaking in or anything. Just slipping in when a door was ajar, or when a garage was open, or I'd follow a dad grabbing the paper and just nod like I belonged. The trick was confidence. I'd head straight to the kitchen, mumble a casual morning, and sit down like I'd been living there my whole life. Pancakes, eggs, toast, whatever was on the table, I was eating it. Nobody ever questioned me. Families just assumed I was like a cousin, a visiting exchange student, or maybe their kid's weird new friend who crashed the night. I got so good at blending in, I even developed roles. In one house I was a quiet guy who drinks black coffee. In another I was the cousin who doesn't talk much but always grabs extra toast. I once buttered 6 biscuits in silence while an entire family argued about carpool schedules, and not a single person looked twice at me. The best part, people actually offered me stuff to take for later. A juice box, a granola bar, a leftover cinnamon roll. It was like meal prep without the prep. For about a month, breakfast was covered. Every time I smell maple syrup now, my brain immediately goes back to nervously buttering toast while pretending to be Uncle Jeff's nephew from Ohio. What a time. That is absolutely insane that they got away with it for a whole month without a single person questioning. That's a vibe. I like that one. It's like one of the only ones today that hasn't been fucked up in some way. This next one is by Yellow Super Dip. I had a Hobbit themed birthday so I could see people's feet. There seems to be a theme in these. It's either poop, incest, or feet. Recently I watched a lot of Ring Trilogy and loved it. Great movies. My birthday was coming up, so I told my girlfriend a Shire birthday would be fun, meaning everybody dresses up like a hobbit. I do like the aesthetic and vibe, but truly the main reason was the idea of seeing our mutual friends' bare feet. A couple people wore socks, but most didn't. One drew hair on her feet, which I didn't care for. Still appreciated it and saw a lot of beautiful feet. This was a few months ago. That's weird. That's really weird. But whatever, I guess. This is the last one for today. It's by Grace Day 3. I have a double life on an alt account where I just lie about everything. On this old account, I'm a white man in his 30s, hot-headed, married, have a child, and a successful career. Dude, I'm actually a 17-year-old black girl. I have only dated one person. From what people say, I'm easygoing. I have no kids. I literally graduated high school today. I don't have a job. I fleshed out this account so well that the relatives that I mentioned in the post, I do the math to make sure that everything lines so specific feels that I honestly